regarding the Trilogy bylaws 846, 475, 152, 871, 902, 901, 903, 904, 906, 915, and 918. I oppose these bylaws. After spending considerable time reading through the staff reports and referrals in the Trilogy PI binders and the bylaws themselves, I cannot support these bylaws. While I can support some aspects of them, Trilogy representatives have made it clear over time, and with each additional concession requested, that approval is required for the total package, that is, all or nothing. To me, this precludes considering details that might not be in the best interest of the village in order to move the process ahead. I was reassured by the CAO's report of June 29, 2009, giving the village solicitors recommendations on a number of issues. In this latest set of bylaws, greenways have been removed. Fair enough if areas cannot be designated with two labels, but in the absence of a parks and greenways plan, either in a draft, I worry that what is negotiated, say for increased density, won't necessarily provide the contiguous wildlife corridors and cycling, pedestrian trails envisioned in our OCP. At least the Trilogy conceptual drawings up to now recognize the need for continuous networks to move people and wildlife around safely. We are currently left with village staff recommendations and the goodwill of the eventual developers of the various parcels. 11 of the 15 areas include multi-family units. Some bylaws give density of gross floor area, others as numbers of units, so it's difficult to determine the potential maximum population to build out. I have particular concern about the potential for 1,200 units on Lot 9B, with the inclusion of flex units to the already permitted secondary dwellings and secondary suites. Initially, flex units were only included in the units east of the highway. Also, expansion of the flex unit definition to include overnight accommodation for travelers also concerns me. Cumberland could have a large transient population with absentee investment property landlords. I also have concerns with the increase in density to 160 units on Lot 11 in Maple Lake. If you recall the early plans, the property near Maple Lake was two recreational cottages, respecting the green space around the lake. Each consideration of Trilogy bylaws seems to involve increased density in an already car-dependent satellite community. There's just one more page, I'm not reading it. I believe there is an issue with changes in density figures in bylaw 904. I realize this was addressed as a clerical error, but I note on the agenda for Monday's meeting, on the bottom of several pages, revised version November 2009, which piqued my curiosity. Despite assurances when I came into the room and saw the same bylaws that were handed out Monday and that no changes had been made, I went through it line by line, and there were changes. On comparison given out with the bylaw on November 16th and earlier readings, the numbers are not the same. Earlier in this process, I had sought legal advice on a number of different issues. Amongst them, changes in bylaws between readings, because there had been several minor changes. I was advised by a solicitor at the time that density was one item that could not be changed simply by agreement between parties. So I suggest that this is more than a clerical error, and I question the legality of proceeding with this bylaw. In closing, I return to two basic concerns expressed at the first public meeting. One, will our taxes go up? It seems likely they will, from Trilogy's acknowledgement in covenant agreement that tax revenues from the development will not compensate the village for servicing. A one-time financial contribution will not fix this. Secondly, where's the water? Despite the overabundance of it just now, this continues to be an unresolved question. Please, Council, consider carefully all of the implications of giving third reading to these 13 bylaws. Respectfully, Grace Doherty, 2731 Cumberland.